The shelves here at Hunger Inc. have just about anything a family would need, including canned meats and fruits. But now the people who run this pantry say they're not sure how much longer they'll be able to stock some of these items. If we head to northwest Indiana, we have almost exactly the opposite pattern. Let's look at Lake County, longtime Democratic stronghold in the Chicago metro area. And we saw you taping off the box, and we were looking at these markings earlier, wondering how they work. So tell us what exactly these markings are all about. Braun's most recent statement indicated that he would sign this proposal if it stays in its current form and gets concurred by the Senate. Has he lost any political capital on this? Because his supporters were adamant that they wanted a reset back to 2021 rates. Well, Purdue fans right now are feeling fairly confident. It's a pretty good mix of all four of tonight's Sweet 16 teams here at Tom's Watch Bar downtown. Well, Congressman Andre Carson serves on the House Intelligence Committee, and he used to work in the Indiana Intelligence Fusion Center. He says there is no reason anyone should have been using the Signal app to discuss national security matters. But it's not just American students that have been demonstrating in support of Palestinians. We've seen protests all over the world in recent days, including in France and Australia. This is footage from demonstrations at Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland. The shelves here at Hunger Inc. have just about anything a family would need, including canned meats and fruits. But now the people who run this pantry say they're not sure how much longer they'll be able to stock some of these items. Joanne Bush says more than 5,000 people come through this food pantry every month. She relies on direct donations as well as support from larger organizations.
Well, it's something we won't be able to offer people in the community, and they'll have to use their SNAP dollars when they go to the grocery to get those items that we can no longer offer. And so that really limits what we can do.
The local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement Program helped food pantries buy from local farmers and producers. Indiana alone got $12.7 million through the program. USDA officials say they're ending it.
It was helping us much more directly impact the local ag economy than what we see with the other programs, simply because the relationship was directly between the food bank and the farmer, and they were coming from within our community.
That meant lower shipping costs. Bryant says it's not a huge change, but it adds a couple steps when working with local farmers. The USDA has not changed its primary food bank assistance programs, which Bryant says are much larger. Bush says her pantry will survive, but the selection might get thinner.
We're probably going to be thinking about alternatives and what we can offer in the future, should that the impact be greater. But it's hard to judge at this point because we're early in the program.
USDA officials say the program was always meant to be temporary. A spokesperson told News 8, USDA is prioritizing stable, proven solutions that deliver lasting impact. The COVID era is over. USDA's approach to nutrition programs will reflect that reality moving forward. If you need food assistance or if you'd like to help, we've made it easy for you. Take out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to the As Seen On section of our website, wishtv.com. The article for this website includes a link to Community Compass, which is a map of food assistance organizations throughout the state of Indiana. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates. At first glance, the election map here in Indiana looks much the same as in recent years. But if you drill down into the data, there are some changes here in Indiana that mirror the shifts we've seen nationally since 2016. Donald Trump and Mike Braun both won the state comfortably, projected as winners within 10 minutes of the polls closing. But Braun underperformed Trump by more than 4 percentage points statewide and in most individual counties. Ball State's Chad Kinsella says Libertarian Donald Rainwater might have cost Braun some votes.
So, he only got 5%. So, I mean, a large, you can almost attribute Braun's underperformance is almost exactly the amount that Rainwater got, across the board.
There was one county that split its ticket. That was Tippecanoe County. Trump won Tippecanoe County by 100 votes, but Braun lost it to Jennifer McCormick by nearly 2,700 votes. Trump won Tippecanoe County in 2016, and he lost it in 2020.
Some of those demographics that are in Tippecanoe, higher education, higher income, kind of more suburban, you got a lot of younger people there, but then also Tippecanoe it's got some patterns that favor Republicans as well, and demographics that favor Republicans. So it's becoming it could, in the near future, surpass St. Joseph County as like Indiana's new purple county.
Braun and Trump both won every other county except Marion, Lake, Monroe, and St. Joseph counties. That follows recent voting patterns, but future election maps in Indiana might look different. Let's look at the donut counties that ring Indianapolis. All of them went for Trump in each of the past 3 elections, but Democrats made big gains in 5 of them in 2020 and added slightly to those gains this year. Take Hamilton County. Trump got 56% of the vote there in 2016. Hillary Clinton got 36%. Fast forward to 2020, and Joe Biden gets nearly 45.5%. Trump's share drops to 52%. Then this year, Harris slightly tops Biden's totals and even wins in Carmel while Trump holds steady. We saw the same trends in Boone, Hancock, Johnson, and Hendricks counties, though Trump's margin was wider. Now, if we head to Northwest Indiana, we have almost exactly the opposite pattern. Let's look at Lake County, longtime Democratic stronghold in the Chicago metro area. The Democratic candidate still won Lake County in each of the past 3 elections, but Trump gained nearly 10 percentage points from 2016 to 2024, and Democrats trended downward almost identically to how Trump did in the donut counties. So does this mean the political landscape is changing? Possibly. IU South Bend's Elizabeth Benyon says most voters are set in their ways.
We generally will not see huge percentage points with 10%, 20% of voters changing their mind over the course of a fairly short time. And so often that suggests some kind of demographic change in who's actually voting in those counties.
Benyon says it's too soon to say if the results suggest a larger trend. She says we'll have a better idea after the 2026 and 2028 elections. Kinsella thinks it's a trend.
I think overall there's some changes that are going on. There's some balancing, and I think you can kind of see the trends already there. I think your donut counties are going to continue to trend more and more Democratic. I think you're going to see some other changes, Lake counties and the region trending more Republican. So it's just there's this really interesting upheaval right now, and some of it might be the Trump phenomenon, but you know, the parties are evolving, and the people who vote for those parties are also evolving.
Regardless, Benyon says both major parties should work to mobilize voters in areas where those shifts have happened.
And although if you're used to being a safe majority party in a particular county or particular district, that may not be comfortable. In many ways, it's good for democracy. It really does put the voters in the driver's seat.
Benyon says the tightening of vote margins, particularly in places like Tippecanoe County, shows every vote really does count. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates. The AMR safety team is at every IndyCar race. When one of those crash trucks rolls out, there might be a firefighter from your hometown on board.
Oh, wow, this is bad.
It's noon on the first day of practice. The cars should have been on the track by now. Instead, the AMR safety team is helping to dry the track.
The wind that we generate from the truck helps move the air to dry the track surface. We put the jet dryers out.
Today, Nodine, Brian Cuneo, and Ron Wally are driving the truck called Safety One. Nodine is the fire chief of the South Madison Fire Territory near Pendleton. Cuneo is a Greenfield firefighter paramedic, and Wally is a retired Sugar Creek Township firefighter.
As a firefighter, everybody likes to help people out, but I love racing too, and I think most of the people on our team love racing, so the aspect of being able to do the racing and the fire service is really, really rewarding.
Race day is you know, it's my favorite day of the year, getting up at 4 o'clock to come to the racetrack and watch the track come to life is a very awesome experience.
Cuneo has been on the team for 8 years. He says much of the job is similar to being a firefighter. The trucks carry rescue and cleanup equipment, and 2 of the trucks each carry a crew leader, a paramedic, and 2 firefighters.
Our structure's kind of the same. We have a boss. You know, our crew leader here. That's your boss at the fire department. You have a paramedic that, you know, the structure on it, how we operate. You know, assign responsibilities.
Except they get to do this on a national stage.
You get 5 hours and 58 minutes full of boredom, and in that last minute before a checker flag, somebody hits the wall, and then you got to go to work. So it's, you know, it's rewarding. You know, the drivers come up and thank us afterwards.
It makes you pretty proud when you can pull up a video like, hey, that's me, you know, climbing underneath the race car when we had one upside down. You know, just stuff like that. You know, I always say it's my fame, but you know, it's pretty cool. you can say you do this. Not everybody gets to do this.
Wally tells me the team recruits through referrals, and interview committee reviews prospective team members based on qualifications and availability in a particular region where IndyCar races. At Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.